to the Salt Circle podcast. I'm Hank, and with me is Ben.
We're talking about anime today.
Yeah, so this idea came from when Ben was saying he was he had watched the first episode of Food Wars, and people berated him in the Discord to tell him to get him to watch more.
Dude,
he succumbed.
I watched the first episode and then said I didn't like it, and chat went like full roast. Like, they just went 0 to 100 way faster than I ever could have anticipated.
They were ready to destroy you.
And
I found this interesting for two reasons, mostly. Was one, that you had watched the first episode of Food Wars, and two, that you allowed them to berate you into watching more of it after you decided you didn't like it. It was interesting.
Those who don't know or forget what the outcome of that was, I watched 2 more episodes and liked it even less than I did after watching just the first episode. So there was that. Joke's on them.
So what about it didn't you like, and why did you watch it in the first place?
Okay, so all right, I'm going to answer that in the order of why and then what. The why is pretty simple. Me and Peter have kind of have a anime watch list. We both essentially have shit on it that the other hasn't seen, and we kind of alternate back and forth watching stuff. And so, you know, like, I force him to watch one thing, he forces me to watch Food Wars and like watch an episode. It was, I forget there's a German word for it. It's like that thing where you feel embarrassed for someone else.
Okay.
That's what I was literally cringing the whole time. Like, it was fucking awkward. It just made me feel so weird watching it. Like, that girl got raped by peanut butter.
She didn't actually.
Peanut butter.
It was a metaphor, Ben. It was a metaphor.
You know what she could have done to demonstrate that? She could have said, "It feels like this dish of food is raping my mouth." Instead,
no. I mean,
they animated it.
Yeah,
they animated the metaphor, and I didn't.
The whole
appreciate
joke of that show is animating reactions to food as orgasms. So, I mean, if you're having a bad orgasm, that's what that is. It's also that someone was forcing her to eat it. So, you know.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that roughly the good half of the show, the food that's good on the show, is essentially just doing the thing that Sausage Party did at the end of the film.
Kinda. But that's fucking food, so that's different. It's not. I mean, it's not anime characters having orgasms.
Regardless,
with food all surrounding them.
It was still just like unnecessary as shit, and that's actually like the lesser reason for why I didn't enjoy it that much. Like, if you're doing an anime and there is no need for fan service, like if you are doing an anime about a beach volleyball team, then I expect there to be fan service. Like, if there isn't, that's fine. If it ends up being the world's most character-driven, deep, insightful anime with no fan service, but it's about beach volleyball, all right, like, more power. But I expect fan service because it's anime.
Look, Food Wars is a sports anime. That's what it is. It's I know. The sport is food.
Okay, but when I think, like, Master Chef, I don't think, like... I shouldn't need watching a food anime. I shouldn't need to like throw on my headphones and keep the volume low so that like other people in the apartment complex are subjected to it. I don't want them to get the wrong idea about what I'm watching. But that's like the lesser reason, actually.
People just like the food. Yeah.
The big reason, and this only became, there was like inklings of it, but it really, in the second episode, I think it takes off more. And then in the third episode, I'm like, yep, we're 200% here. I really, really hate the trope of the student council is equal to God, and they run the school, and the adults are scared of them. Like, that whole entire premise can fuck off. It killed Kill la Kill for me. There was a I think I actually read it as a manga because I could skim over the 600 volumes of filler in between the 3 good issues, called Keikaio Hitman Reborn. And like, same shit, the student council was God, and it's just, I was sick of it. I'm like, why is this chick running the place? She's a student. Also, aren't these people like 13? Like, please stop. Yeah. So that's really what got to me. This is like fresh off when me and Peter would watch Kill la Kill. That just kind of, and that one sucked because I really Kill la Kill. I actually enjoyed in spite of the like obvious fan service in the form of the outfits, right? But like, the voice acting was really good. I really enjoyed the animation style. Like, the soundtrack was fantastic. But I like the whole school student council setting. Just it's a piss
that's
off.
not I will say that's not a thing in season 2, but
it's too late. I'm not gonna force myself to.
So that's just a thing you hate.
It is.
It's just a trope that you can't deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's fine. That's fine. We're just building ground rules here. That's a trope you hate.
There's
so
like some
what I think is the best anime is immediately out because it uses the student council thing.
Okay, I think.
Although it doesn't do the adults are scared of them thing. Really.
If it's I think it's a combination. It's like there's this stupid fat girl in my class, and those things are not bad on their own, but when they're combined, it becomes worse. I have nothing against bigger people. Like, whatever, we all make our own choices. That's fine. I have nothing against people who might be a little bit on the dimmer side. Like, it happens. Whatever. But if you're both like
all right, you're painting a real good positive image of yourself. That's good.
Yep.
It's something to work from.
Okay, all right, fine, we'll back up. In my defense, this girl drinks at least a Mountain Dew per class, which, like, I suppose I'm biased as hell because I don't really drink soda, and Mountain Dew always kind of tasted disgusting to me. Like, the aftertaste just... Ugh. But she also didn't know what communism was, why America got involved in World War II, how World War II started, or... also made some comments about a Mexican author. So, like, now I hate everything about her. And that is kind of what happens with this anime. Like, I could deal with a student council setup if it was, like, a more serious, not a lot of nonsense anime. But when you combine the student council thing with, like, all of the yelling and the orgasms and the peanut butter rape, like... the overdone dialogue, like, main character Food Wars guy had his little monologue at the end of episode 3 about how he's going to be the best and he's going to show everybody. And
it's a cliche sports anime. It's filling the formula. And I will say it's just an annoying trend with that kind of anime, and like anime is doing a weird, out of place fan service thing in the first episode is very common.
Yep.
So,
Monogatari, gratuitous panty shot 10 seconds in for like a full 15 seconds. Never, absolutely unnecessary. And I was like, what the fuck are you making me watch, Peter? But then, like, you get past it and it was fine. But it was just so entirely out of place.
Yeah, that's a problem with a lot of series. It's just
you gotta hook them. Gotta get them coming back for.
I mean, it's specifically things that are targeting teenage boys.
Yeah.
So. Okay, that's something. So what? So I just want to build some background on like what anime you've encountered and what you've been recommended that you liked, what you've been recommended that you didn't like, and stuff like that. Just build your scope of what you've seen.
So I've said it probably like every other day for the past 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 or something. I don't know. Mushishi is consistently my top anime, and I don't think that will ever get knocked down unless Mushishi does more anime. Like, unless there's more of it released. And it's because it goes against, except in art style, honestly, like, it doesn't really feel like an anime. Like, it's quiet. There's no fighting. There's no exaggerated yelling. I think they do, I'm sure there's an actual term for it, but they do the, like, exaggerated, goofy facial expressions, like, twice. And because it's not super in your face, and it actually is funny. Like, I actually laugh at it because it's done well. Like, just real chill, calm anime that's just nice. It's quiet, and it's nice. It's I don't know. It's just lovely. Then on the flip side, I also enjoy Berserk, which is the exact opposite of everything I just said. Which I guess for those who somehow don't know, basically just main character is the best and kills everybody. There's a bit of betrayal.
Well, yeah, and it's structured. That's a tragedy.
Yeah,
basically that
they do like one arc from the manga that has the most depressing ending, and I actually, obviously it's like this horrific event, but I don't know. I'm very much of the opinion that, like, stuff that makes me feel that strongly is also good. Like, I was just I had to go to work the next day, and I'm just working in the factory, like, scooping cheese, just, like, not saying a goddamn word to anyone. Like, it fucked me up, but I love it for that. And then I got to watch through it with Peter, and he was just like, I can't believe you made me do this. I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing because I just got to experience my friend's soul being shattered, and it was amazing. But it's
good.
You know, it's also more serious anime. Like, I don't think they do any of the facial expression stuff in there, or like any of the general tropes that you would associate with. So there's that, and I guess some other general ones. I used to like Death Note. That was actually like the first anime I sat and watched through. That was like my introduction to it when I was like 13 or whatever. And I thought it was great. I'm like, this is fantastic. And I believe, I forget if we talked about this on a different episode or came up casually. I tried going through it again and I couldn't. Like, it's bad. Because I remember you mentioned they over dramatize everything.
Yeah, I don't like the anime very much, but I really like the manga.
Yeah. Like the fucking potato chip scene. Like, I used to like think this was kind of funny and endearing, and I'm watching it now trying not to like cringe so hard my neck breaks. So
yeah, like the way they like animate him eating a chip as like it's super important. It's just like, come on, guys.
Yeah. And it's
pick
like
up the pace a bit.
And it's like, if they had just done it for that one bit, okay, then it's funny. But they did it like every single line before that happens is the same exact way.
They hit the heavy import on everything, and it makes nothing important. Yep, basically. Like the one time I think it just works in terms of being hilarious is the fucking tennis match. I just think that's fucking the way they do that is just fucking hilarious. But other than that, I don't think it works. And I think the second opening to Death Note is one of the worst anime openings I've ever seen. Ugh. First opening is like one of my favorite things about the show existing was just
then the second one is just like, well,
the worst.
Time to mute it for a minute here.
Yeah, but then it screws up the whole pace of the mystery, the way they do stuff, in my opinion.
I think,
but if you like Death Note, that gives me a baseline because there's a thing I can recommend specifically based on that. So.
And then like Cowboy Bebop, which I feel like isn't too from what I've heard, that is the anime for people who hate anime.
It was very popular because it was on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim.
Sure.
So,
but that was it's another one that It's fairly no nonsense, but doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, I don't know. I mean, it just works.
That show's just great.
Yeah, like it's just a solid. I made like a small list here. There are a couple, and then the Samurai Champloo, which from my understanding is the same guys. I know the same voice actor does the main character again. I think it's the same general team or whatever. I guess like I don't know if that's one that I need to go back through like after I started Death Note again and couldn't do it. I'm like, what other anime do I actually not like? And that might be one of them. I don't know. I need to like start it again and see what I think. I think it will hold up, but maybe not as well as the first time I watched it.
Fair enough.
There is another one that was fairly serious. I like most of it, and again, I don't know if I will going back through it, but I think I will. It's called Gungrave. It's about two guys who, in their like late teens, join the mafia, and it follows them throughout their entire lives as they both end up kind of in different positions in the mafia and like end up becoming rivals through it, and then like it actually follows all the way through to their deaths. And just the stuff that goes on, like super good character development and all this other stuff, really satisfying ending. Like 2/3, 3/4 of the way through, they bring in all this weird ass like zombie supernatural army bullshit that apparently was like to make the video game more fun. So like that's kind of disappointing, but aside from that, it was really solid. But hilarious. Yeah, like just randomly, like guy is undead and he's out to like kill everything. I'm like, okay, well, we were fine. But and then there is actually I guess 2.5 exceptions, because as a rule I really don't go much for the for like comedy anime or like the basically if it is loud and there's like a ton of crazy shit going on and it's just kind of not organized chaos, I guess, like that's not usually my jam. Or just anything kind of stereotypical. I did enjoy Log Horizon, but that was probably due to me just coming off of the second arc of Sword Art Online. So Log Horizon was kind of a light in the dark. Basically, it does the whole I found it did the whole trapped in a video game thing a lot better, even though a lot of the dialogue is shit.
Okay.
Though some of it's shit in a funny way. Like, so bad it's good kind of deal. So there's that, which I don't know. It's the other one is, this is kind of the 2.5. This is like the half. Like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is fucking fantastic. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I like it. Like, going by other things that I generally enjoy, like, I shouldn't like it. But it's fucking amazing. Turns out, like, buff dudes are a really solid way to win me over in an anime. That and the Yes riff. Like, throws off his clothing. Like, I was sold. In that moment, I knew.
Fair enough.
So there's JoJo. And then the last one that's, like, probably the farthest out, like, I would never have imagined myself liking it, and I was actually super hesitant after the first episode, but it won me over. Space Dandy. Like, never in a million years would I have thought, like, I would enjoy it as much as I did, but I do, and it's great. And that's, like, that one has tons of fan service and stuff, but it fits into everything. Like, it's just there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's not some high schooler who falls into some chick at school and accidentally grabs her, like, double H-sized tits and then, like, gets into trouble.
I mean, they go to a tit bar in the first episode of that show.
Yeah, like boobies, so.
Yeah.
And
anything that you were recommended that people thought you would like that you just bounced off of completely that you can think of other than Food Wars?
I bounced off of completely.
Or like just any notable ones you didn't like, whatever.
I remember Crump was real into Bleach in high school. I like watched a couple of episodes and I was like, yeah, no, I'm out.
Yeah, that's traditional shonen fighting anime.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah, I guess there hasn't been a whole ton of recommendations that have come my way. At least I don't know. See, the problem is that I oftentimes don't even like bother.
Yeah,
just because like usually it's obvious. Yeah, that's like the only one I can think of that I even have seen a couple episodes of.
There's something else Peter's had you watched that you were like, fuck this?
I'm trying to let me see if I can bring up the list here and see if there's any of the older things on it. Yeah. I don't.
Right.
Monogatari is kind of in that weird gray area because I didn't dislike it, but I guess I didn't like it quite enough to continue. We went through like the first arc, and like I watched it. I was interested in it. I don't know, something about it.
Okay. I'm mostly just fishing for making sure that you haven't seen things that I have. Sure. We're going to talk about, so that's fine. Mostly, I haven't seen the stuff, anything you're talking about. Like I've seen Cowboy Bebop is like the one that I've watched.
The only one that maybe when you mentioned Death Note, the only one that I've heard good things about, that like saying that it was similar to it. Was it Psycho-Pass? Was that the one you were gonna?
It was not the one I haven't watched Psycho-Pass.
Okay, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I think I will enjoy it when I eventually get to it. To some degree, anyway. Oh, also Afro Samurai was good, but I don't know if we're counting that because it's like 6 episodes and a movie, and it's Samuel Jackson. So, what's not to like?
Fair enough. Okay, so, trying to think the best way to start with this.
Just give me the name, and I'll give you a yes or no. I don't even need to see anything about it.
Yeah, that sounds right. How about how do you feel about fishing?
Is that like a PH fishing or an F fishing?
No, F fishing.
Okay.
Fishing, going for fish. Pleasant.
You have my tentative attention.
How about what if there were people learning fishing, but then there were also aliens?
I'm having some confusing images in my mind, but
they're fish aliens.
I'm still listening.
There's a duck. It's a nice duck.
Okay, go on.
This is one I really don't know how to pitch, and it's one I've watched less than a lot of these. I only watched it the one time. It's called Tsuritama, spelled TSURITAMA. It's just like a pleasant, high schoolers. This high schooler is out in a new school, and he learns about fishing.
Backing up quickly, One Punch Man is also like probably one of my top anime. Like 10 out of 10. Just so we know. Like
okay. That's just just fishing, just pleasant.
On a scale of like 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10. How loud would you say it is?
It's not loud. It's not. Okay. It's not loud. It's not boisterous. It's mostly just nice and pleasant and kind of funny.
Okay.
So that's
I mean, I think I'll put it on the list. I'll put it on the list.
That's a show. That's one I want to rewatch because that's honestly one I've only watched it once. But
Like,
how do you feel about? So, what's your thoughts on sports anime? Since Food Wars was such a turnoff for you. Saritama, the other thing is it's not really. It doesn't fall into a lot of the cliches of the genre.
Yeah.
There aren't tournaments.
I guess I don't necessarily like. I talked a bit of shit about like him doing the little monologue thing about being the very best. I don't necessarily mind that, but it's like in the context of all the other bullshit, I was just done. Mm-hmm. Like I'm envisioning like someone trying to be the best at whatever sport and doing the same shit. I suppose it would be okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick on just the pleasant anime train.
Okay.
And go to Baby Steps, which is about a nerd learning about tennis because he likes a girl who plays tennis and just like slowly getting better at tennis with like a romance subplot, but just, and being very nerdy about it, like particular in the way he's keeps notes. It's not very boisterous, just like slow progress. And it's it's fun.
Not very sold. Like I'm envisioning me having to watch like I don't know 100 episodes of Beta. Like I'm okay. So not necessarily the same, but me and Peter did watch through Watamote. Mm-hmm. And he will tell you that it was my idea. It absolutely was not my idea. That's not how I remember it. That was a disappointing anime. Like, I assumed there would be some level of like character development. Like, she becomes less of a neckbeard. No. Mm-hmm. I'm going to spoil it right here. No. She doesn't. It's actually garbage. Don't watch it.
No, the thing about Baby Steps is there is character development, there is progress. It's just slow. Baby steps. It takes baby steps. This isn't a show I love or anything. This is just, it's a pleasant show.
How long?
I mean, it's still going. It's endless. Basically, it's endless. I mean, I stopped watching it because eventually I got tired
so if
of
we're
it.
We're gonna say at the start of this that he's full beta.
I mean, he's not an unpleasant person. He's just a nerd who doesn't really have a lot of friends. He's not like he's not a neckbeard. It's not that.
No, I'm not. No, there's a difference. I'm not calling him a neckbeard, but like joining a tennis club for a chick is pretty beta. No, just like okay, how long does it take before he starts becoming less shit? Like, I'm assuming at some point it picks up a bit, like where he's more confident and has friends. And things.
I mean, it's mostly.
Oh, no,
the initial
he
thing
doesn't become confident.
Well, it's mostly about him. It's about tennis. Like the focus, like the initial impulse is just because, like, it's a club to join, and he has to join a club or something. I forget the reason. But he just thinks it would be good. And he was a nerd who was just focused on getting into college, but then he starts playing tennis and just becomes absorbed with that.
Becomes a jock.
Goes for trying to become a professional tennis player.
Hey, babe, come back to my place. I'll show you what this forehand can do.
It's not like that, but okay.
I always follow through.
There is an episode where he has a tennis match against a player who's only interested in like painting, so all his strokes are about him building an image in his mind. That's a weird one. That's the most anime it gets, honestly. In terms of because there's a different tennis anime that's very famous called Prince of Tennis that's just a Shonen tournament thing where they have like superpowers.
Oh,
and this isn't that. This is just tennis. But I think that's enough tennis talk.
Yeah.
There's another sports anime that I liked that was recent. That was Haikyuu, which is a volleyball anime, and that's more built around character dynamics of the team and stuff. And it's more it's more built into the formula, and the animation's pretty good. And I know I learned about volleyball. Like, it was just that kind of thing can be interesting to me, just in terms of they're building in a structure based on a sport, and like,
yeah,
if it doesn't go like into they have superpowers.
I guess, like, yeah, I'm not opposed to like sport anime as a whole, like, because it can serve as like a really good base for the shit that I enjoy, like character development and just almost more of a slice of life but sports thing. But yeah, a lot of the times it turns into the like fighting anime, but not.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
like,
Haikyuu is more built on the main character is like really short, and he's like, his hero was a great striker who was also short. That's what his focus is like.
oh, it's dude volleyball.
It's dude volleyball. Okay. I see where your head's at.
Oh, this explains a lot of the fan art I see sometimes. It all makes sense now.
All right.
No, like, no, it's whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so main character is short. Is that it?
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
it's a show about
Go on.
introducing more and more characters. It's a character
Okay.
dynamics show, so they have lots of different archetype things and just jokey character interactions.
All right.
Built around, volleyball. These ones are like, they're like ones I watch like, all right, I guess I'll watch that, and then like surprisingly invested in the characters.
Okay.
Is really the draw of those kind of shows. So like, there are plenty of these kinds of shows that I think are garbage.
Yeah. I think it was that one time that you and Ty did an episode of something with anime or whatever.
Maybe we did it.
I think it was
those or something.
I think it was one of the shows that started around that time. I remember I was like vaguely interested because it's actually relevant to me. It was like about band. Like, this chick was in a high school band or something.
I found that show incredibly boring.
Okay. I know literally nothing about it except
that was when I watched the first episode and was like, this is very, very boring.
Okay. Because just like, like, I'm more inclined to like a sports anime if the sport is band, because I was in band, so I'm like, yeah, I know what's up. I find this to my liking. But okay.
What if it was a girl who was really good at judo?
Judo is like the thing with the wooden sword.
No, that's
thing.
No,
Fuck.
no, that's different.
Okay.
Judo is more like
it's the thing with the sandals
grabbing a
and
guy
the
by an arm,
wives.
grabbing a dude by his arm and throwing him over your shoulder.
So
more-
martial arts.
Yeah, it's a martial arts thing. Not
I don't know. Okay. All right. Go on.
And her grandfather was a great judo master, and he makes her do judo, but she doesn't actually want to do judo, even though she's really great at it. She just wants to be a normal high school girl. It's called Yawara, a fashionable judo girl.
God bless those translated titles.
And, that one's a little older, and it's just again, it's just kind of pleasant. But she's really good at judo.
What anime are you into? Well, it's called Yubiki, but the English translation is a boy who stands alone on a hill at sunset waiting for his friends to come by so that they can go to the lake and play together. It's kind of a slice of life thing.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
I'm throwing out. You like pleasant things.
How long is it?
Yawara, I forget how. I don't think I finished Yawara.
That speaks volumes.
Speaks volumes.
It's real good. I didn't finish it, but
it's 124 episodes. Whew. Again, I'm not starting with the heavy hitters. Okay, I'm easing in.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Again, and my thing with some of these is like, yeah, they're fine to watch for a while, and then you stop watching.
Yeah,
and it's not like the end of the fucking world. Yeah, I'm not out here pitching the. Not yet at the 26 episode.
Like some memory is coming back to me. I was recommended to watch Gurren Lagann. You can imagine how that went.
It's from the people who made Kill la Kill.
Yeah, except it was shite. I did not care to watch
I've only watched
Explosions, the anime.
I've only watched one episode of that one.
Yeah,
and from what I've heard, Kill la Kill is like a better version of that. It's like more streamlined.
Okay, so that I did actually watch for reasons that Monster Girl anime.
Oh.
Oh. Though I will admit, the episode where the bird grill was laying an egg was a couple steps too far. That was... We just kind of, minimized the window and, took off the headphones for a bit. It was weird. It was weird.
Uh-huh.
But, I don't know. I would never keep it on a hard drive. I don't think I'd ever feel the need to rewatch it.
Fair enough. How do you feel about the French Revolution?
Well, I think it was awfully unfair of those people to throw that man in jail just for stealing some bread.
Uh-huh. Got no feelings on the French Revolution?
I mean,
ladies at court.
We got the guillotine out of it. We got that was where Let Them Eat Cake came from, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So we got some things that I approve of out of the whole affair.
There is an anime that I liked called Rose of Versailles, which is about the French Revolution, and it was originally just going to it's based on a manga that was originally just going to be about Marie Antoinette, but luckily someone talked the author out of that because that would have been the bad idea of just having her as the protagonist.
It's yeah.
So instead, they made up a fictional character who becomes her guard, who's a woman who was raised to be a man, and just lives.
I mean, that sounds like an interesting. That sounds like an interesting premise.
Mm-hmm. I think it's better when it's just dealing with the bitchiness of court politics stuff, and then at the end it gets a little too. Once the revolution is kicking into gear, it's a little less good towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
A little less fun. But it also the end of the first episode is the main character and her servant friend, who's kind of her best friend, but it's also her servant, just punching each other until they fall down. They just get in a fight and just punch each other until they're both tired out.
It happens. What was the title of that? Can you type it out or something?
Rose of Versailles.
You're fucking killing me.
And that one's influential on my favorite anime that has student council stuff, so I won't pitch it yet. When we get to the end, I'll pitch some just weirder stuff that are. At some point, I have a bunch that are you're just gonna say no. It's fine.
I mean, that's basically what I expected out of this.
Okay, let's get into some.
Also, probably helps that I only barely skimmed your anime list.
I mean, yeah, all of these are going to be going to be off that just because that's actually everything I care about in terms of anime I've written about for Burning Barrel already.
I mean, except you haven't seen Mushishi, so you fucked up.
I mean, it explicitly doesn't have things I haven't seen.
Well, I'm saying you goofed. By not watching it Mushishi, you have substantially goofed.
All right. So how about sticking with historical fiction stuff.
Okay.
There's an anime Peacemaker Kurigane that's based on the Shinsengumi stuff, which has been adapted, I think, into a bunch of anime stuff. Shinsengumi, they were like the samurai, the special police basically at the end of an era, and then they all
was it the
get murdered.
Edo era?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch anime.
Yeah,
I know my eras.
That's just a solid show based on that story. That's character based and stuff.
What was that? Peacemaker,
Kurigane. Kurogane. And that's so like if you're into that samurai era, is a solid show.
Okay. Is there a non-ridiculous anime version of Pride and Prejudice? Because if there is, I'm in.
There's an anime version of The Count of Monte Cristo.
Slightly less in, but...
And it's about the son of the dude the Count wants to murder. It's like a coming-of-age story framed as. Ugh. Also, there are giant robots in part of it.
I'm good.
All right. I've actually heard people who are someone who was just going through versions of the Count of Monte Cristo adaptations.
And that was one of them.
Just thought it was actually the best compared to all the movies based on that story. Just because it kind of got that the Count wasn't the hero.
Yeah.
Which the movies fuck up. How about the children dying? Are you thrilled about children facing themselves and then, tragically dying one after another?
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I've read through the Berserk anime, so you could say that children dying is one of the more tasteful experiences that media could have.
An anime, Bokura no.
Okay.
Where a group of kids get conscripted into piloting a giant robot where they fight against a single one-on-one battles staged in a row where they fight another robot from another world, and whoever loses, their planet is destroyed. And also, after you pilot the robot, you die.
That sounds pretty grim.
It's pretty grim.
Gonna lie, that sounds pretty fucking grim, my friend.
It's super just grim, but it's really well done. And there's the alien character who's just a horrible piece of shit. It's called Dung Beetle.
Classic.
And it's just, a lot of it's just kids, coming to terms with the fact that they're going to die. So it's really good. It's really well done. It's very sad and tragic.
Yeah.
Because lots of kids died.
I don't know. When you said kids dying, I thought it was going to be like Berserk, where they just got raped to death by demons. Less tragic.
What? What? What?
There's actually only one instance of that. It's not a demon. It's just a normal dude. Real life problems. Which makes it even worse. Anyway, moving on from child deaths. Moving on from child deaths? Are you sure? Are you telling me there's more? Are you telling me you have a second anime based around children dying?
There's an anime that's based around a child having died in the past and then traveling back to the past to try and solve the mystery. But also you're traveling back into his body as a kid. So he's a kid in the past. It's a mystery.
How young of a kid? When you say
Middle
kid,
school?
you mean like
Little kid.
what?
Middle school?
Oh, good.
All right. That was erased. Was that one? How about puzzles? Do you like puzzles that are definitely not actually puzzles, but are games?
What?
And it's
start over. What?
It's called Fibrain. It's the dumbest anime. It's really dumb. But
You're doing a great job of selling it.
Yeah, I know. This is definitely one I definitely think this was in the definitely no way file. So good for you. It's a sports anime based around. They say it's puzzles, but it's always a thing set up by someone else that you're trying to solve. But they're like competitive elements to it a lot of the time. Like they just don't understand what puzzles are, and it's really stupid. But it's funny. It's cliche. But again, that also has the group of kids get special treatment for being the puzzle club. Like they sit in an elevated special place in the cafeteria because they're good at puzzles.
I say we pass. I mean, there's no need for me to relive my childhood. Stupid puzzle kids getting all this special treatment. Jigsaw motherfuckers.
The story of a guy who joins the armed forces because he wants an easy life. He doesn't want to worry about having to eat.
So Beetle Bailey? Like the anime?
And then he gets promoted to being a captain on the ship of, Bad News Bears style troublemakers.
Have you seen the movie Heartbreak Ridge?
No.
Okay. Well, never mind then. A
lot of it is about whether or not this
like
guy
the longest
is actually
yard is it?
Not at all.
Okay. I meant like in
Not
terms
at
of
all.
whipping them into shape and they become good at shit.
No, that's definitely
Oh.
it's definitely explicitly not that. Never they don't get whipped into shaped into becoming good.
They're just
It's more
shit
about
all the time.
no, it's more about like the benefits of what they already are more than anything. I would say it's closer. But also it's about like, is this character actually a complete moron, or is he, because he lucks into a lot of stuff and he makes the right choice, but you can't tell if he's doing it for the right reason. It's hard to pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, a member of the crew is Jason. He wears a hockey mask.
Okay.
It's just a member of the crew.
Yeah, you're not helping.
It's the Space Navy.
Oh, fuck's sake. God damn it. I knew there was something. I was expecting, like, I don't know, the village people, but no. So they're spaceships. It's a space navy.
Yes. It's Space
See,
War.
that changes. You should have led with that.
Okay. It's Space War.
Oh.
There's Space Japan versus Space,
Space
barbarians.
It's
hard to pitch this one.
Apparently. No deal, Howie. No deal.
All right. That one was Irresponsible Captain Tyler. That one's hard because it's the reason I think it's the best comes at like the it has one of the best climaxes, I think, of like any story. It's really good. It's about it's in like war is, bad or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, how's the character development though?
I mean, it's it's
You're hesitating.
it's definitely
it off.
it's incredibly character focused, but it's not.
That's not.
It's
the
more
question
it's
at
more
all.
realistic than, well, like they're just people.
Answer the question though. Do the characters develop?
Yes. They've developed between their relationships between each other more than.
Okay. That's okay. That counts. We'll take it.
It's a crew. It's definitely a builder.
All right.
That was the anime that I watched. That was like, I like anime. That was the one that convinced me.
What? Okay, right. What was the name of it?
Irresponsible Captain Tyler.
Eerie.
He does seduce the AI that's evaluating him in the second episode. I think, or first episode.
I've
that
seen
definitely
her.
happens.
That's all good.
I think that's the first episode. Okay. So, how about trains?
We're starting on real low territory, but I'm listening.
Okay, it's not actually
We're
about
starting,
trains.
like,
that's
on
that's
bottom
the wrong way. It's like this one presents itself as like it's a wide cast of characters, and it's when it starts out, it's presenting itself of who is the main character here. If you were telling this story, it's like told from the first episode comes from the perspective of a reporter talking to his like pupil about how would you tell this story from it already having happened, and then you kind of go back and you see that it play out. All these characters are on this train, and crazy stuff happens on it, like lots of violence and whatnot. And just like who's the main character here? How would you frame it? And it's sort of about stories in that way.
Okay, so like narrative process sort of thing, like different.
Yeah, and there's just a lot going on with a lot of varied characters. There's like a nightmare murderer. There are these serial killers who are all dressed in white. There's
Is it one of those things where like it's the same story from different viewpoints each episode?
No.
So it's different incidents. Like,
I mean,
there's different points of view, but they change the shit per episode. Like the thing that the overall thing that happens.
There's a lot happens because it's not stuck on the train. The train is like the central thing, but when it goes to another character, you'll get more of their backstory, kind of thing. Like so what got them to this situation.
Okay.
It doesn't really repeat itself a whole lot. I don't think, from what I remember.
I'm just wondering, like that's, I don't know, that stuff can be, that idea can be real irritating for me. Or at the very least, like I can handle a bit of it, and then at a certain point, I'm like, just tell me what happened on the fucking train.
But there's also stuff that happened before the train. Like some of these people are immortal, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, but what's happening on the goddamn train? It's been 20 episodes.
It's not. I mean, the other thing about this one is only like
short?
16. Yeah.
Okay. See, that helps.
Yeah, I should be going more into how long some of these.
That does make a difference. Like I can do a 20 episode anime about judo. 124 episodes is a little much to ask.
Yeah, Bacano is 16. We're getting
all
into
right. That makes it certainly more doable.
Real. Yeah, Tyler was like 26, I think. I'm just double checking. Yeah, that one's 26. Yeah, but Bacano's actually one of the ones I'd really recommend just because it's not like super anime, but it's it is anime, but it's only 16 episodes.
Yeah. The 16 episodes definitely helps your case.
It's doing.
All right,
it's
what
doing
are we?
interesting.
How do I spell it?
Bacano, Baccano, and there's an exclamation mark in the title. At the end.
Also, I watched Prison School. I'm remembering me, Peter, and Ty actually did that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of the facial expressions are real good. It clued me into the fact that I have a thing for chicks with crazy eyes, and past that, it was solid garbage. But I guess kind of a way like I would watching it with friends and like just the sheer like stupidity of it all. It was good in that way, but like there's no way in fuck I'd ever like watch it again on my own.
Gotcha. Okay, how do you feel in general about war?
What is it good for?
Like war stories.
Absolutely not.
Characters in war. Like on the ground, soldiers in the muck, going through the swamps with like bonding character stuff of, seeing going through the horrors of war together, characters getting closer to each other.
I think it's fine. Like it's like the sports thing. Like I think it can serve as a really good base. Like Berserk is kind of that way for most of the show.
What if also on top of that you added in a Romeo and Juliet story of a character from one side falling in love with a character from the other side?
You got my attention. You
What
got my
if
attention.
It's also only 12 episodes.
Oh fuck, bud.
What if it's also Gundam though?
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
like this is the one Gundam thing I like in that because it's not like other Gundam things. It's about soldiers on the ground.
So
it's less anime-y in terms of over the top action.
There was this one guy who ruined Gundam for me.
That's
Maybe
fair.
You know him.
Yep, that's totally fair. That's why I didn't lead with that. But I would say of all the Gundam things that I know exist, this is the one that I would say is watchable. That is worth giving a shot. I'm not saying you have to watch any of these. Just say I'm putting it out there.
No, because like you made the first concept sound so good, and then you,
I did that on purpose.
You're a bastard. Fine, what's it fucking called? The worst part of this is of all things, I'll probably end up liking this, and then I'll through that will hate myself.
It's Mobile Suit Gundam.
Oh fuck! It's actually. I thought you.
No, it's actually Gundam.
It's actually Gundam.
The 8th MS team and 08.
08 8th MS team.
Yeah, because that's the particular squad you're with.
You said it was like Gundam. God damn you.
No,
I'm I'm increasingly more upset by this, and the idea that I might enjoy it. Then what happens? Like, then who am I?
Person who likes this one Gundam show, but not necessarily Gundam as a thing.
Speaking of things that are kind of similar to Gundam in the sense that they have giant mechanical things that look like other things, I do plan on watching Voltron at some point, the newer one. It's
very good.
Supposedly good. Yeah, I'm going to be starting it soon, so we can do
Although it did have
a thing on that.
The last half of the last season I was less into. It had structural problems just because it was you're getting it as a second half of a season kind of thing, the way Netflix put it out. And they did a Tesla joke and it was just wrong. They were like, They were like, direct current, Tesla. I was, what? No, Tesla was alternate current, you fucking assholes. What are you doing? I'm also sick of Tesla jokes in general. Tesla is super in like nerd culture, like super just too much Tesla.
He was a god.
Just too much. But like, if you're gonna do a Tesla reference, get it fucking right.
Yeah,
God
talk
damn
about
it.
Elon Musk.
God damn it. It's like that one Batman comic where Batman he clearly hasn't read the Iliad. Because he made he made a Trojan horse thing and referenced saying it was in the Iliad. That's not in the Iliad. And the Trojan horse, nope. You don't get that far in the war.
Yeah.
God damn it. So now I know that Batman hasn't read the Iliad forever.
Happens.
He's just a poser, man. He's just a poser.
All right, what do you got? What do you got next? Hit me.
This one's very popular, so if you have ever been exposed to Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. That was one of the ones that like.
And which version?
Like both.
Were you exposed to? Okay.
Friends in high school, 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them we could probably do just a podcast on like the one of them because it was just a whole thing. Like my friend group was basically me, Crump, our other guy friend, and then 2 chicks.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really into anime. Like branched out eventually, but Inuyasha, Naruto, Bleach, like
Yeah.
the big 4 of fuck just kill me now anime. And they got into Full Metal Alchemist at some point, and then like Brotherhood or whatever. I know they did both because that's how I knew like it deviated from the manga, and then they did the other one.
Yeah.
That was one they like talked about it, and I think I looked it up at one point to be polite, and then I just kind of noped out. I'm like, yeah,
I mean, the pitch for Full Metal Alchemist is it opens with a scene of 2 kids trying to resurrect their mom and instead coming out with a monstrosity. And then so that was where I was in.
Yeah.
And my problem with Brotherhood is they fuck up that first scene. That's like a starting point breaker.
I mean, that's a pass just because it's been a pass for like.
Yeah, that's
how
fair.
old am I? 23. It's been a pass for like what, 7 years now, something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say it's the original series show I think is very good, and I don't like the newer show at all. I'll just say that and move on. Okay. How about the post-apocalyptic future and wolves?
Interested.
And there's a girl who's a flower.
I'm getting Undertale vibes. Less interested.
I mean, she's just a girl, but she was like grown. She's like a plant girl.
I'm getting like Guild War II's Sylvari vibes. More interested. Again.
So the thing,
I'd bang a plant.
The main characters are wolves, but they are depicted often as
like
people.
Werewolves? Okay.
No, but they're actually just wolves.
Okay, but they're
just
people.
But they like act and think like people, and they're shown as people, but any people who see them just see them as wolves. They're just wolves.
So elaborate furries.
I mean, no, because they're never. There's no like middle ground. There's no middle ground.
Elaborate furries.
I mean, they're just wolves. They're just animals. It's a show about animals that happen to be people sometimes.
That's aside from the point.
All right,
just slinging shit. Go on.
So and then they're on a quest to get to like a promised land kind of thing of legend, and it's just very dark and cold because the world is dying.
Yeah, that actually
and
sounds really interesting.
It's by the animation studio. It was like the animation studio that made Cowboy Bebop. It was one of their next big things.
What's it called? That actually sounds that sounds fairly interesting.
Wolf's Rain.
Wolf's Rain.
And the one
rain
note
is in water or rain is in rule.
Rain. And that one, the only thing is near the end, they did this super infuriating thing in terms of what they were putting it out, where like the last 5, I think, episodes were all recap episodes, and then they ended the show, and then they put out the end as a like OVA DVD release.
Oh, yeah, that's fairly gross.
So it was super gross, but now you just don't have to watch those episodes, and you just watch the ending.
Yeah, you just skip, like as soon as it hits recap territory, just fucking eject and then move on. So
they think that it's like can be listed as like 30 episodes, but it's actually whatever 25, 26.
Yeah, something.
Or something like that.
Noted.
That's the one I actually think you might like the most in terms of bitches when I was looking at stuff, just because it's, you know, it's just
that sounds like fairly up my alley.
Yeah. That was a big one of like people who weren't super into anime. They would like Cowboy Bebop, and they would like Wolf's Rain was like another one.
It features people who aren't people. I'm in. People suck.
I mean, there are people. There are human characters.
That's the best part about Berserk.
Okay, let's go first. About acting. Joe, you into acting? What if there was a character who the greatest acting role was being a tree, and she had to stand on stage and sell being a tree? That's like the climax of the show. That show exists. It was okay, honestly.
I mean, okay. Just without knowing any other information, I have 2 things in my head.
All right.
It could either be literally she's just standing on stage and being a tree, and she's blowing the whole thing out of proportion, and it's like ridiculous, or they take it like next level, and there's some like human nature stuff going on, Druid type of shit that I love, but I feel like it's the former.
Nope, it's just her standing on stage and the show blowing it out of proportion. That's a show.
You know, there's good anime and there's bad anime, and there's just anime.
Anime club in college. That one is like, that was a good turning point because it kicked out everyone who was not super in.
Wow.
And there were just a small group of us that stuck with it.
Wow. Fucking. So this is like, I guess I'm out then. Like, I'm out of the anime club.
Yeah, that's fine. Our other joke with that one was when we would watch anime on burned DVDs. Mm-hmm. And the opening for that show was so bad that we would recut it with just putting in openings to other things instead of the opening.
Also worth noting that I do really enjoy like almost I guess slice of life stuff. Like just I guess more like romance stuff. Like, I'll say it. Romantic comedies are awesome. I'm in for some romance anime. The problem is a lot of it is shit. Because it's anime, and a lot of anime is shit.
A lot of anything is shit.
There was one that I enjoyed. What the fuck? Kiri no Irumachi? Machu? It's like Afternoon on the Hill or something. Was fairly good, except it did that thing where the guy ends up with the wrong chick at the end. It's like the girl he loved all along and then was dating someone else for like years and then just dumps her at the first opportunity to date the first chick that he liked. Mm-hmm. And they're like happily ever after. I'm like, you're a fucking bastard. Also, you dropped short green hair for long blue. The fuck is wrong with you, son? God, I was pissed at the end of it, even though I knew it was coming. But like that sort of thing. Like, I'm in. Or like I can't even remember the name now. What is your name? That was a good anime film.
Oh, Your Name?
Your Name, sure.
Yeah. That's the great. One.
Yeah, that's some top tier shit right there.
That is really great.
So just for reference.
Okay. There's one that I wouldn't pitch you on except that you like Space Dandy and One Punch Man.
Okay.
And it's basically the overall story focus is between a boy and a girl and like them working out how they feel each other in terms of one of them's about to move away.
Okay.
And like they're kind of trying to, so they get stuck into a magical world kind of thing where they're traveling from world to world and every kind of place they go is like a parody of a genre.
All right.
And then it has an overarching structure and then it's sort of episodic and jokey, but then it develops a serious turn at the end and is focused on like romantic feelings kind of stuff. So that happens. And it's it's pretty short. That one's only 13 episodes.
All right. Yeah.
And that's one that I don't love all the comedy in it, but I like when it turns, it becomes a thing I actually really like. So it's like rewatching it, it's actually I like it a little less than I did the first time because I've remembered that strong ending so much.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that one's just called Magical Shopping Arcade Abanabashi. That's a yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be talking to anyone I know in real life about this shit. What was it? Magical Shopping Arcade?
Magical Shopping Arcade. Which I think is just like a mall. But
yeah, Magical like Shopping Arcade. What?
Abanabashi, which is ABENOBASHI.
You're killing me.
I mean, you like fucking Space Dandy One Punch Man.
Okay, yeah, but like...
You like some anime-ass anime, is all I'm saying.
Magical Shopping Arcade.
Yeah. And again, I don't... That's one you might just bounce off of just because of the humor. I don't know. There's always hits, but...
Yeah.
How do you feel about Westerns with bad animation?
I mean, just based on those two things, like, I don't care even a little. Is it a space Western?
They're on a desert world, and they are from space. But and there are space elements.
But it's not like Firefly or Star Wars.
No, it's more Western, more actual Western. Except, there are like robot arms and weird guns. Also, the animation's really bad. It's a problem. Also, it's more comedic for a long time, and then it has a twist, and then it's super dark and serious. And
so leave that one by the wayside.
That's Trigon. That was another one that was popular at the time of Cowboy Bebop and stuff, but it holds up less good because the animation quality is pretty hard and it is kind of just a lame comedy for a long time until it gets interesting.
Sure.
Like it takes a while to get going is the problem with that one.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel about bears?
I mean, Homer. You know exactly how I fucking feel about bears. What's it called? What's it called? I'm putting it on the list.
How do you feel about lesbians?
Are there bear lesbians?
There are.
Oh man. Go on.
It's very anime though.
It's very anime?
It's very anime. It's the most anime. It's very weird. It's called Yurikuma Arashi, which translates to Lily Bear Storm or Lesbian Bear Storm.
Fuck's sake. I mean, give me a little bit more.
So, it's for some reason it's a world where there are only girls, and they're also bears, but the bears are also girls. I will also say. And bears eat people. The focus of bears is eating humans in general. And there's a giant wall that was built to divide bears and people. Like think Attack on Titan. Except they're very cute bears that eat people and then disguise themselves as people to sneak into the human world. And then look, bears. I told you I started with the right pitch. It's bears.
Yeah,
and lesbians.
That's like you hooked me just enough for like I want to watch it, but I don't want to like it.
Yeah, this is one from my favorite anime director. He's like done 3 of my favorite things, and this was his most recent thing. And it's also the shortest. This one's also a short one. Also, the main character like lives in the house from Psycho, and their school is like their walls are like the walls from the horror movie Suspiria. They're just horror references to let you know that this world is fucked up.
Okay.
Even though it seems like kind of normal.
What is it
anime
called
world.
again?
Yurikuma Arashi.
Yurikuma Arashi is how?
Arashi. I think this one's going to be too anime for you, personally.
Yeah.
It does have like characters. There's like naked getting honey poured on them in the opening.
Oh, god damn it. I mean, if anything, it sounds like it might be one that like is just my stupid anime allotment for like 2017 or something.
Well, the thing is, it's very smart. It's just very anime.
Yeah, but like bears.
And bears.
So
very silly.
Really.
They're definitely silly. It's very
This is
silly.
reminding me, like semi-topical to honey being poured over people. Reading a book in class that's about like Native Americans living on reservations. It's like, what's it called? Love medicine. And they're like all these people. It's like short stories, and each one is from like a different family member's perspective at different points in time. And there's one that's written, I forget when this book was actually written. I want to say between like 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a story that takes place in the 50s. And one of the events that happens is there's a shipment of butter. And the truck breaks down, and it's a hot day. So this guy and this girl he used to have a thing for, but hasn't in like 20 or 30 years because he's married with like 100 kids. Like, she has a fancy air-conditioned car. So he's like, hey, can you help me move this butter around? And they end up like banging each other in the car, like smeared in butter. Like the author goes into detail about how he like rubs the butter all over her and is like, you look good like that. And I'm like, all right. And then she like coats him in butter, and it's like this thing. And I was so confused.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Books are weird because the authors have the room to just do stuff.
And it's like I don't get it at all.
Look, man, people were horny before, and they didn't have the internet, so
yeah, I guess
they had to get it where they could.
Smeared in butter. Butter.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't have answers for you, Ben. I'm sorry.
like Birth of Paula Deen, I guess.
The other thing I'll say about Yurikuma Arashi is that it seems like it's building a formula for how the episodes are going to go, but by episode 4, it's completely throws that out. Like it changes. So it's not.
Gotcha.
If it seems like it's developing to be just this thing, then it's not.
Oh, that's cool. I've watched JoJo. Like fucking enemy of the week for like 100 episodes.
And again, that one's only 12.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one by that same director. Again, I'm not going to pitch Utena because that one has a student council, and I know you hate that. You can't deal with it.
If it's a serious setting, if it's like a very serious setting where it's a normal student council and for some reason there's like extra politics going on, I could be persuaded. But if it's just like, fear me, I'm the student council president, and my father is Nintendo, and if you cross me, I'm gonna kill you. Like, it's more okay there, 14-year-old. Calm your ass down.
The student council has been getting messages from someone who calls themselves the end of the world, and they've been running secret sword fight duels in the Forbidden Garden over who owns the Rose Bride, who's another student, and then the main character kind of gets involved in that.
Okay, so it's an angsty 15-year-old.
Who's an angsty 15-year-old?
Whoever calls themselves the end of the world.
No, that one's an adult. But
okay, so
you're
that's
not
just
wrong.
Creepy as fuck.
But you're not wrong. It gets super creepy. Don't worry.
Yeah,
but it's with a focus. It's with a story focus.
Like second season of Sword Art Online, creepy.
But right? not without a purpose. The second season of Sword Art Online is it doesn't realize it's creepy. It's like the most infuriating thing. If you're gonna tell a creepy story about someone being in love with their sister, like at least fucking put it that way, not as the self-insert character. That's ugh.
Yeah,
terrible.
It's a bad anime.
It's good for like 14 episodes. I stand by that. And then it's all fan fiction. It's all bad fan fiction.
Actually, the thing that pissed me off most about that anime, more than the questionable dialogue, more than the stereotypical bullshit or the tropes or whatever else.
They also threw out all the characters for the second season.
Whatever they did, the thing that pissed me off the most was that they kept calling the dude a beater. She's not even a cheater. She's a beater. Okay, well, I don't even know what to say to this. First off, obligatory masturbation joke. Second off, like, you sound stupid as shit. Like that's just the worst thing to.
I mean, I watch things in.
It was aggravating.
Japanese with subtitles, so some things bother me, less because.
I mean, no, that like I watched it. I watched it in subs, but I had to read the word, and that was almost worse.
Yeah, I mean, I can minimize that for myself. I'm just saying.
I had to burn my retinas with it,
and also sort of assume it sounds better in Japanese. It just doesn't read as bad.
I would.
I make some allowances for stuff like that might not translate as well sometimes.
I'm just trying to think of what could have been improved. Like, what could have they used instead? Like, someone who uses a beta to their advantage. Like, a preloader? Even, like, it doesn't sound insulting at all, but at least it's not beater.
I mean, it's part of the Japanese thing of wanting to have a term for things. And, like rank them as a kind of person based on a thing they did. Is, like, a big thing in anime that just doesn't work sometimes when you apply it to certain things.
Yeah.
For sure. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's next? What's next? Hit me.
So there's a duck, and she sees a prince, and the prince is sad, and she wants to save him. And then a creepy old guy comes and says, I can give you magic powers that will allow you to save him. But if you ever tell him that you love him, you'll turn into a ball of light and disappear. So she makes the deal. She turns into a real girl at a ballet school. And then that's a magical girl anime where instead of having fighting, there's ballet.
I like other
basic
stuff
structure
that I could have been doing with my night. I just want to throw that out there.
Fair enough. That one's also, that's like a...
Okay, so it's just a normal duck.
Yeah. Her name is Duck.
It's
like Ahiru, but it's the Japanese word for duck.
Uh-huh. I mean...
But it's built around, like, you know, fairy tales.
Do they ever tackle the notion of, like, a duck having a thought process?
What do you mean?
I don't think I've ever met a duck that could sympathize.
It's a duck that has, you know, the human brain, basically, in terms of how it's written.
So...
But it's just a tiny
yellow duck.
It's
a duck that watched Rick and Morty.
No.
Has the power to reason now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's built. The show is built around like fairy tale stuff.
Yeah,
like German folklore.
See, like that actually sounds like fairly interesting.
The actual way I pitch it is it's like Don Quixote, but more for German fairy tale stuff, not chivalry. And then also
never read Don Quixote.
Ballet. It's fair. The idea of someone taking on a different persona because they think it's, you know, right or whatever.
Sure.
And the story implication and it gets sort of in the second act, it gets more meta about storytelling and stuff. And the story starts to bleed over. The fact that it's a story starts to bleed over into the real world and weird stuff happens.
Okay.
Like the person, it's also the story that's playing out is also a myth in the world. And the guy who gave her the creepy old man who gave her this power is the one who wrote that story. And he died and his hands were cut off because because the people were like afraid of him. And he's sort of affecting the story, and it's whether these characters can avoid the tragedy that is how the story ends, or if they can overcome it.
All right, so you said like magical girl anime, but ballet instead of fighting.
Yes.
How like
there's some fighting because there are.
Yeah, I was gonna say like how like fighting anime does the ballet go? Like how intense does it get, or is it just like they do ballet?
I mean, there are plenty of animation flourishes and like feathers, like petals flying in or whatever.
Okay, and
there is some sword fighting.
But
like a lot of times, it's her trying to like reach a character's feelings or whatever while they're attacking her like physically.
But is it like sports anime monologue, like tournament shit?
No, I mean it's more Monster of the Week. More
okay
in terms of how it's episode to episode going, with then a big overarching thing where she's collecting pieces of the prince's heart, but those turns like, oh, I found sadness, here you go, prince, have your sadness back, and now the prince is sad.
But it's not like ballet is the focus with other stuff revolving around it. It's like ballet is a thing that happens.
And they happen to be at a ballet school.
Okay.
So there's like classroom scenes about ballet. And their teacher is a cat person for some reason who wants to marry people, but that's a weird joke. Also, the world is like a mix of people and then animal people because it's the way the story world and the real world have mixed.
Oh, that's cool. I've seen BoJack. No, that sounds fine. I'm actually semi curious.
Yeah, it's hard to pitch how it gets more interesting than it might seem at first glance.
For anyone still listening, you'll notice that an ongoing theme is a lot of anime is hard to pitch without making it sound like shit.
Well, it's hard to pitch if you hate anime. If you have a definite distaste towards anime, I would say it's harder. If you're like me and more willing to watch that first episode, a lot of these things are easier to pitch.
It's not that I'm unwilling to watch first episode. I watch Food Wars. The problem is that it has to, like, all anime is guilty until proven innocent. It has to win me over because I start out hating it. Mm-hmm. Like, it is a 0 out of 10 until it is not.
And I will say, like, Princess Tutu is one where I say, like, watch the first episode. If you like it, you can keep going. If you don't like it, you could probably drop it.
Like, yeah, like, it's not going to improve.
Well, I mean, it gets better, but that's what it is. It's not, like, deceptive. Mm-hmm. There are some shows that are deceptive from their first episode and not, accurate. Like, it's like Bacano is not every episode is from the perspective of this newspaper guy telling this student. It doesn't set up its premise. It sets up its premise of its themes more than it sets up the premise of, like, how the show is going to work or whatever.
Yeah.
From episode to episode, there are differences there, and I mean there are some shows that just show you were about a different character for the first episode, and that annoys me.
So anyone who has any desire to watch Mushishi, I recommend that you roll right into, like, episode 2 or even episode 6, because first off, it's all episodic. Like, you're not gonna. You could probably start with, like, the latter episodes and not miss anything, mostly. Mm-hmm. The second season, however the hell they divide it up, gets a little more into reoccurring characters, but it's still episodic. But, like, the first, I don't know, the first, like, 6 episodes, it's almost like every other episode kind of hits the mark for what the show is at its core. So, like, the first episode, like, it's good. It still fits, but the second episode is a better representation. Mm-hmm. And episode 6 is just because, like, it lets you know that there's not always happy endings. Which is nice.
So there's one more show I'm gonna pitch before we call it, and it's
what was the name of ballet thing?
Princess Tutu.
Oh boy.
Which is her magical girl name.
And
they say it. They say Princess Tutu.
Oh, god damn it. All right. Grand finale.
The last one I'm going to fit is Durarara.
I definitely know the name. I don't think I can place what it's about or anything about it.
So this one is from the same team and writer as Bacano.
Okay.
And this one is more based around a city, and there are just a whole lot of characters and a whole lot of things happening, and there are some magical elements. The most prominent one being there is one of the characters is a headless motorcycle rider, and she, doesn't have her memories, and her head has lost her head, and sort of, what's the deal with her head is a thing that hangs sort of over the story. You have average teenage characters in a kind of love triangle thing. There are several gangs. The big thing is about gangs, and there were these 2 colored gangs, but now they've kind of gone away. And the new gang is called the Dollars, and it's sort of based around an anonymous internet forum. Is kind of the thing. And just there's this one character who's just sort of super strong and invincible, and there's a whole reason like why he's like that or whatever. But it's mostly about character dynamics, and there's a lot of Those are strong, big character arcs, and it's just a lot of moving pieces. It's very much, I think of it as being about a city. And like the first episode is a story about the motorcycle chick saving a girl from who's being kidnapped. Kind of like direct action is the line where it kicks off. How long is it? That one's pretty long because they did like a full 26 episodes as a thing, and then they brought it back for other seasons.
Okay.
So then there's a second series that's like another 39 episodes or whatever.
That sounds like terrible.
Yeah.
I just like I suppose it's definitely, well, I shouldn't say definitely. I don't watch enough anime to know. I feel like it's more of an exception to the rule, but like, you occasionally got those ones where it's like, well, Naruto just finished its like billionth episode. Like, this thing is still running. Like, One Piece is a thing. Like, that sort of deal. But I from what I know, that's kind of the exception. But it's still a worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's more common with like shonen teenage stuff, like Naruto or Pokemon or something. That's just like, we're putting out an episode of this every week for fucking ever. Kids watch it.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to say that when I first heard about Boruto, like, legitimately, anime or otherwise, it's one of the dumbest, stupidest fucking things I've ever heard in my entire life. Boruto.
Yeah. I forgot. I have one more thing I forgot to pitch, which is the one that's because you like Death Note.
Oh, which is the name of this last one?
Durarara.
Right.
Durarara with 2 exclamation marks.
Okay.
And it gets abbreviated as just DRRR.
Okay.
A bunch.
All right. What's the?
And the last one is about the main character is a doctor. He's a brain surgeon. He's like the best brain surgeon. And there was a time at his hospital that he got taken off a case to work on someone else. And he finds out later that he got taken off because this other person that he got put on was rich. And this person he was working on was like poor or whatever. So his hospital had their connections that were forcing him to work on the more important person or whatever. So this is like a guilt that builds in him. And then it happens again where he's working on a kid who's had brain surgery, and then like the mayor or the city, I think, or something, has come in and needs brain surgery, and they want to take him off, and he refuses. And he saves the kid, and the important politician dies. And this kind of wrecks his career. His fiance breaks up with him, who was the daughter of the head of the hospital, and he's sort of like blackballed in terms of his career promotions. And then one day, someone comes along and murders everyone above him at his hospital. And it turns out the person that did this was the little boy that he saved, who is now grown up and become a monster. And then he kind of sets out to track him down. And he's like a doctor, and he goes around, still being a good person and a talented surgeon, and sort of the ongoing mystery of him trying to track down this person, and the associated mystery surrounding that. And there's this detective who's following the main character, who thinks he's totally guilty of these murders, and it's super analytical. And it's very it's very low key.
Side. Like, am I gonna see someone's head getting sliced open? Am I gonna see the brain surgery?
You probably see some of it, like the amount you would see on like, I don't know, CSI or something. Probably is comparable. Just that would happen occasionally.
I mean,
but this one is not. Yeah, and this one was targeted at slightly older audiences. It's like seinen instead of shonen. So it's less. It doesn't have any of that like spastic energy. It's much more solemn, and
It's actually a really good way to describe it. I'll have to remember that. Spastic energy.
yeah.
The thing that I hate. But yeah, honestly, like my only thing, like it sounds like an interesting premise, but like I'm a bit of a puss when it comes to like, oh, we're just gonna like, I don't know, inject this guy, and then we have to like slice open him for some reason, and like just ugh.
I mean, it's more about the ongoing mystery and him trying to, and him traveling and trying to track this down, and sort of revelations. And then there's the kid who was in the hospital. There's a whole thing about it, and he had a twin sister, and she's also a major character, and she's also trying to find him.
All right.
And that's what I haven't actually watched the anime, but the anime is like a pretty panel by panel adaptation of the manga, which is one of my favorite comics. So I would also recommend the manga as a thing to read if you're not into watching the anime. And the anime is like 74 episodes. It's really long, and it's an 18-volume manga. Like, it's a big thing, but I think it's fucking great.
Yeah. All right. What's
and
that
the other
one?
that's just called Monster. But
that sounds familiar. Actually,
there were like reports of Benicio of fucking what's his name? Pacific Rim director guy.
Guelo.
Guillermo del Toro doing like a Netflix series based on it, I think was or something. There was some rumor about that maybe happening. But I don't think anything's come of that yet. But yeah, Monster's really good. He has an even longer manga series that I really love called 20th Century Boys. And there's a shorter manga he wrote that is a retelling of an arc of Astro Boy, but told as a serious detective story.
I feel like I remember you talking about that somewhere.
Yeah, that one's called
like
Pluto.
Chat or something.
That's like one of my favorite comic books that exists.
All right.
And
yeah, I've definitely.
Yeah, I love all his stuff. The Yawara, a fashionable judo girl, is actually based on a manga he wrote too, which is the only reason I watched that one. But it's not, emblematic of his more serious stuff.
Yeah. How much have you seen like all of like Studio Ghibli stuff, Hayao Miyazaki's stuff?
I'm actually haven't watched all of it.
Okay.
I'm actually, because there's just a thing with his like he hits hard on like environmental messages near the end of a lot of those stories, and it's just not my thing.
Yeah, there's some where it's like he punches you in the throat with it.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say like I didn't recently get it, but I've had the like Hayao Miyazaki collection, like the Blu-ray collection for a while now, and I finally like sat down and watched like one each day. And surprisingly, like Porco Rosso was probably my favorite, which I did not expect at all, but because like I'm into nature shit, like I don't care about being punched in the throat with environment stuff, because like you got all these trees and you got all this nature stuff and humans are shit, and I'm like yeah more, do the thing. Talk about how we're bad, do it. But then like I'm like, okay, like the dude's a pig, but it was such a good movie, and it like I don't know, I wasn't expecting to like it that much, and you could tell that like that was the movie he put his soul into. Like the dude liked planes.
The dude did like planes. That's a fact about him as a human being.
Well, even Wind Rises.
Yeah.
Those sound effects though. Classic. I don't know. Just wanted to throw it in there because I know. Yeah, I'm like I have my Peter's list open still. That's actually where I've been putting all these things because it's convenient. He has actually not seen like any Ghibli stuff.
Mm.
So
I like Howl's Moving Castle a lot.
Yep, that's a good one.
That's one of the ones I really like.
I don't think there's any that I dislike though. I haven't like been able to bring myself to watch what
Grave
the
of the
hell?
Fireflies?
No, that's on my list.
It's just super sad.
Yeah, I feel like I saw it, but I feel like I watched it, but I think I didn't. I think I might have watched something and thought it was that. I don't know. Whenever that someone mentions that film, I have a scene in my head, but I really don't think it's from that movie. And I don't know what it would have been from.
Weird.
Yeah. But no, I'm forgetting what it was like. It was like one of the first bigger movies that Hayao Miyazaki did. I can't fucking recall of it. Like the castle or the count or the duke or something. I don't know. But it looked a little bit too old and too meh. So I just kind of like passed it by. Yeah. Got some good recommendations. How many do I have here? 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 12. So,
yeah.
At some point, probably do a follow up, at least
Yeah.
Part of a podcast, like follow up on.
If you watch any of them in full, we could do a show on them. If you watch just a bunch and bounce off all of them, we could talk about that if we have enough.
I'm guessing it will probably be like some of both. Out of 12, I'd be surprised. I would be surprised if there wasn't any that I watched all the way through. That doesn't mean that I'll want to watch them through twice, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought this was a good idea for a podcast. It's a weird.
Yeah, it's
thing to try, and then that could potentially lead to future podcasts or not. Whatever.
Ben tries to pitch black metal to Hank.
But I just don't like it.
Okay, well, you're wrong. I don't like anime, but here we are.
No, but you do. Because you like some things.
Name one anime I like.
Space Dandy.
Wrong. King of the Hill. My secret top anime.
Uh-huh. I still don't understand why you call it anime.
Because it is. Name a way that it's not.
Not Japanese.
Okay, well you're saying Americans can't make anime?
Yeah. It's like champagne.
I mean,
it's not like Americans can make good animated things, and they can make animated things that are in the style of anime.
But it's not real anime because they're American.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I didn't know you were such a bigot.
It's not a quality thing.
It kind of is, though.
I mean, there's stylistic things about how anime is produced that you can totally copy, like terrible CG. That's a staple of anime. When they do CG, they make sure to cut out frames. Like, they render it full, and then they cut out frames to match the frame rate of anime because they think that's their aesthetic. That is the thing that happens.
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
It's still a good anime. It's called King of the Hill for a reason. It's the king. Anyway, it was an interesting episode.
I had fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Got to talk some shit. Got some new stuff to check out, which is good because I don't know. Actually, as we kept going through more and more, I'm like, I've been in the mood to kind of watch an anime, but I all the ones that I like when there's so few, you rewatch them all, and then you're like, well, shit. That only took like 3 days.
That's fair.
So it'd be nice to see some. And like, again, most of this I have not heard of.
Yeah.
Like at all. So that's kind of nice. A lot of the stuff, like even with Food War, well, maybe it's just a symptom of like Peter will like link to stuff or like talk about it. So then I have a vague idea. So I've already hated it for like 2 months before he wants to watch it. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
But,
like if you're not looking for anime and all you're hearing is about certain shows, and you're just annoyed. That can be. I can see how those are just immediate turnoffs or whatever. Just preconceived things or whatever. Like a lot of my anime came from exposure came to my anime club in college, which was mostly run by girls. So that's sort of informed the anime that I've consumed over time.
My hypothetical anime club did a lot of things for me. Like made me hate anime. Ruined a friendship. But that's, that'll be another episode. Ben's high school days.
See, I didn't watch anime in high school except what was on TV, like Digimon.
Well, I'm not old as shit, so there was more anime to choose from when I was in high school.
That's fair. Oh, I also knew people who watched Dragon Ball and Z on VHS tapes, but that wasn't my thing. I drew the line.
Yeah, that's one. Never got into it at any stage. When I was little, I watched Sailor Moon. Like that was a thing.
Yeah, Sailor Moon's fine. The one of the head writers on that went on to create Yuriko Arashi and Maru Penguin Drum Utena. So
I watched
that was more why I got so interested in Sailor Moon, was like backwards, because liking that guy's work.
I remember watching a bunch of like 4Kids shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't even remember the names of all of them. Metabots, that was the thing.
Yeah, Metabots.
I
There's
remember
a Metabots abridged thing on YouTube that has like 3 episodes.
I tried going back and watching that. I got like a couple episodes in. I'm like, I should probably just stop now before I ruin everything.
Yeah, no. That's one of those like
Shaman
watch
King,
it because it was on.
Shaman King has one of my favorite intros to anything. Like that theme song is top fucking notch. And I actually went as far as like digging up who sang it and who composed it. And they've done nothing similar, and it was really disappointing. I actually read through that manga, and it has the show is pretty trash. The manga is tolerable, probably mostly for nostalgia's sake. Trash ending. I don't think I've invested in something that long to the end and been that disappointed. It was just bad.
Yeah, bad endings can totally ruin a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking, it's over. You're done. It's over. There was a thing, Captain Earth, I think, was an anime I watched not that long ago.
You're thinking of Captain Planet, son.
No. It was a fucking robot anime thing. And it was like, I was okay with it until the end. It was just garbage. Really bad ending.
So, I mentioned it earlier, Keikaio Hitman Reborn. That was a Show and Jump one. I think I just kept lying to myself, like partway through, in the beginning, I saw like a glimmer of hope. I'm like, all right, we have a perfect setup for character development here. Like real prime kid is a little puss, and he's going to turn into like this badass dude. I'm like, okay, like we have the tools here. He has these gloves. He becomes super fucking powerful. Like he has all this shit going for him. He gets a bunch of loyal subordinates because he's essentially like doesn't want to be, but is the new head of a mafia family. Like all this stuff going on. I forget how many, like billions of issues into this manga. We come to the completion. Last issue. Kid is still a goddamn little pussy who doesn't want to be in the mafia, who can't talk to girls, and like just in general is a worthless pile of shit.
So you're saying that was traumatic for you?
Like, dude, it was. I don't know why. Like, I guess I just, by the time I realized that it wasn't going to change, I just like couldn't stop myself. I'm like, I need to know that it won't change. And like, it had good moments. Like, it had some of like, just, I don't know. Like sometimes you're in the mood for the really stereotypical like, I'm only using 80% of my full power. I'm only using half. Like, you know, just your bullshit lines.
Japanese,
just
they love percentages. They love assigning percentages to things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That came up a lot. Like,
it's just a thing. They just love doing it.
Little dude in the background is like, I don't know, man. Your gloves are at like 16% power right now. They shouldn't be. What's going on? I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll just roll with it.
Yeah.
But, you know. Disappointments all around.
There are a couple of shows I didn't feel like talking about this time, but potential for some
part
more.
2.
I don't know that there's actually enough for a part 2.
Like 3 years from now, we'll come back from this. We'll have a fresh list.
No, that's not possible. I don't watch enough anime to ever like really fill up the list again. But
it's time to start.
There are a couple that I could at least throw in as if we
do
a follow-up.
Shit.
We do any kind of follow-up episode in terms of what you have watched. There are a couple.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right.
Probably call it. That extended edition.
Double episode, basically.
Yeah. Double dose.
All right. You could email us at saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/saltcircle, at Twitter @saltcirclepod. I'm on Twitter @comicpanels.
I'm on Twitter @bean_LP.
And that's been an episode of anime.
Unfortunately. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Probably, maybe.
If Ben doesn't tear his eyes out and
if I
vomit blood.
Stab myself.
All right, peace.